Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, welcome to our online learning class. So inshallah today we are going to see about nutrition in humans. And last class we saw about till significance of photosynthesis. So what is nutrition? So before I think I've mentioned that nutrition is basically uh, there are some chemical substances present in our food. When we take that, it helps in our growth and development of our body and maintaining our body. So basically, that's the definition for nutrition. And different foods contain different types of nutrition which are essential for our body, which are needed for our body, for our growth, development, and all these things. So this is the definition. Nutrients are the chemical substances present in our food which nourish our body. That is basically they help in our growth, development, maintaining, and all these things. So nutrition are broadly divided into three groups. First one is energy yielding nutrients. Those are carbohydrates and fats. When we work out or when we do something, when we spend energy, okay, we need energy. So basically, carbohydrates and fats, we get energy from them. And next one is bodybuilding nutrients and proteins. Okay, so basically from proteins we get uh, uh, protein is a bodybuilding nutrient. When we get when our muscles grow, it's because of proteins. Then growth regulating nutrients, vitamins and minerals come under this. You can call this vitamin or vitamin. Vitamin is British English and vitamin is American English. So let's say vitamin. So vitamins and minerals, so they have some growth regulating nutrients in our body. For example, we have blood clot. When we have wound, our blood gets clotted. So all this because of presence of vitamins and minerals. They have some functions. They'll be present very very small amount in our body, but they have some functions. Initially, first we'll see about carbohydrates. So as I told, carbohydrates, they're the source of energy. So they are the main source of energy in our food. So they may be in the forms of sugars or starch or cellulose. These are some compounds. Don't get confused. Just remember the names: sugars, starch, or cellulose. So here they are mentioned here and their sources. And if you talk about sugar, then we get them from fruits, milk, and sugar cane. And starch is a type of carbohydrates, and it's the source is like potato, wheat, rice, sweet potato, etc. So and then you have cellulose. It is also it is roughage, that is their sources are salads and raw vegetables. So basically, when we eat this roughage, the name itself suggests that when we eat, it helps in our movement of our bowel. Bowel is basically when we go to toilet. So smooth, smooth excretion. Otherwise, it will be difficult. This kind of fiber foods, basically roughage is fiber food. Okay, so fiber food like raw vegetables and salads, this help in our smooth bowel movement. That is smooth excretion. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Okay, then you have fats. So their function is keep the body warm. That is, fats will be present under our skin, so that we don't feel coldness. So they help us to keep our body warm and to help in the transport of fat soluble vitamins. There are some vitamins that are uh, that so they get soluble, okay, in the fats, and they'll be stored for the future usage. So that is the one usage of fats. They for the transport of the fat soluble vitamins. And then you have there are some common sources of fats that are edible oil. That is, edible is we use in our food oils, ghee, butter, meat, and nuts like groundnuts. Okay, these are some sources. And regarding how much energy can be produced from fat, so 1 gram of fat on oxidation. Oxidation is a process of basically breaking down into smaller particles or converting into energy. So they give about 37 kilojoules or 9 kilocalorie of energy. These are in units. You don't have to get scared by hearing these units, like how we have for time we have seconds, okay, and for distance you have inches and you have meters. These are different units. Inches is some different unit, meter is some different unit. Likewise, to measure the energy, okay, energy, they have some unit called as kilojoules and kilocalorie. So you just have to remember that 1 gram of fat on oxidation gives 37 kilojoules or 9 kilocalorie of energy, okay. So we have given this some sources as mentioned here. And proteins, and proteins we get from milk or dal, pulses or egg. These are protein rich foods. And growth of body tissues is the main function of proteins. As I told, growth of body muscles, tissues, it is uh, it is done by with the help of protein. Okay, so there are many protein-rich foods. That's why you see bodybuilders, they take milk and eggs because they are protein-rich food. And chicken is also a protein-rich food. And you have vitamins. So, and you might have heard from people that eating carrots increase your eyesight, okay, improve your eyesight, because carrots contain vitamin A. So vitamin A helps in uh, this thing, eyesight improving. So basically, uh, vitamins, they will have some functions, okay, for necessary normal growth, maintenance of our body, and they are required in relatively small amounts compared to carbohydrates and proteins. Vitamins, they are present small amounts in our body and they are required in small amounts. So deficiency of particular certain vitamins cause certain diseases. And also if the vitamins go overdose, that there are extra, okay, that mean like overdose, like vitamin A or D, it is harmful for our body. There might be some diseases, okay. And vitamins may be water soluble or fat soluble. So water soluble vitamins, basically they will not be stored, they get solubilized in they are soluble in water, and they will be taken to different tissues or body and it will be used. As for fat soluble, they get soluble in the fat and it will be stored with it for the future use, and they will be used necessarily, okay, but they will be stored also. So vitamins B, like the complex B1, B2, B4, B12 and C is a water soluble. Vitamin A, D, E and K, they are fat soluble. They are just names for different proteins. Okay. And types of vitamins, their sources, where we get that, and what are their functions, and deficiency diseases. That is, if they are deficient, if it is not present in proper amount in our body, then there will be some diseases. Okay, so that is the table they have given here. So if we talk about vitamin A, their sources, main sources are milk, carrots, tomatoes, egg. The functions to keep eyes and skin healthy. Okay, to keep our eyes and skin healthy. That's the main function of vitamin A. Deficiency disease. What will happen if you don't get enough vitamin? So night blindness, poor vision in dim light. You might have heard about night blindness, that uh, when the this thing when there is a dim light, then they cannot see, especially if it's after 6 o'clock, after sun set, they cannot see. They will have blindness. That is the this is called as night blindness. Then vitamin B1, the main sources are milk, peas and cereals, green vegetables, meat, all this, and the functions, growth and development of our body. So deficiency, this is what will happen if there is a deficiency of vitamin B1. So there is a disease called as beriberi. Just remember this. It's a disease which affects the nervous system. I don't want to go deep into the disease. What will happen? Beriberi. You don't have to remember all these things. Otherwise, you will feel that the topics are a lot. So you just have to remember the name. It's a beriberi disease. will be caused because of vitamin B1 deficiency. What is very it affects the nervous system. That's it. You just have to remember this. You don't have to process a lot of information in your head when you study things. And next one is vitamin B12. So their sources are liver, eggs, milk, fish. So their functions, they form red blood corpuscles, red blood cells. In our body we have red blood cells in our blood. So the B12 vitamin, they help in formation of RBCs and deficiency disease. What will happen if you have less B12 vitamin? So anemia is a disease. You must have heard about anemia. You might have heard about anemia. It's basically deficiency of red blood cells. Okay, and you have next vitamin C. So their sources: amla, tomatoes, citrus fruits like lemon, orange, like that, and water chestnut. Okay, it's a type of some nuts. You can search on Google how it looks. So functions basically healthy growth, strong blood vessels. You have blood vessels in our body, right? And deficiency. What will happen if there is a deficiency of vitamin C? So scurvy is a disease in which gums swell up and bleed. Gums is basically in our mouth. We have teeth, right? Gums. So they swell up. Okay, they swell up and bleeding. Blood comes. So that is the disease, scurvy. If there is a deficiency of vitamin C. And then you have vitamin D, and the main sources are sunlight, milk, whole grains, and vegetables. Sunlight, you might have heard that uh, the morning sunlight, okay, early sunlight. What will happen in our skin? We'll have skin cells. So the sunlight, they help in synthesis of some cholesterol in our skin cells. So they get synthesized to produce vitamin D. So sunlight helps in that. Okay. Functions: form strong bones and teeth. And what will happen if there is a deficiency of vitamin D? So rickets. The name of the disease is rickets. It affects the bones in children and make them soft and deformed. Okay, that's a disease. Next one is vitamin E. It's basically, we can get this from vegetable oils, milk, butter, whole grains, vegetables. You can see milk, comes in vitamin A also, vitamin B1, vitamin D, vitamin E also. So it means that milk has a lot of benefits. So it protects cell membranes. You have cells right in our body and they have cell membranes. So vitamin E basically protects the cell membranes. And what will happen if there is vitamin E deficiency? It affects fertility. Fertility is ability to reproduce. Okay, and vitamin K, the main sources are green vegetables like spinach and cabbage, and functions helps in clotting of the blood. When you have wound on our skin, when you fall down or some wound happens, what will happen? It bleeds, right? Blood comes out. So but if the blood keeps on going, what will happen? We will die, right? So it has to be stopped. So what will happen? The blood gets clotted. So the vitamin K, the main function is helps in the clotting of blood. And deficiency, what will happen? If there is a deficiency, excessive bleeding from wounds. So when we get wounds, it won't stop. There will be a lot of bleeding. So doctors might have to give some external thing to stop the bleeding. Then you have minerals. Minerals such as iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, iodine. You might have heard all these names. They are minerals and they are required by our body in small quantities. Okay, and they have tables here, same like that, vitamins. So minerals, when you talk about iron, sources are green leafy vegetables like spinach and all these turnip, sprouts, yeast, liver, eggs, meat, all these things. So what is the function? They forms hemoglobin. So iron associated with hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a pigment present in our blood. Our blood looks red in color because of the presence of hemoglobin. Heme means this iron. Okay. So what happens? The blood will have hemoglobin, and when we inhale oxygen, and this oxygen we inhale and it is done in lungs, right? So from lungs, this blood takes the oxygen, this hemoglobin, it attaches to the oxygen, it attaches the oxygen with it and takes it to different tissues in our body. Okay, hope you're getting. So basically, hemoglobin, it takes the oxygen from the lungs to the different tissues. And you have next one is calcium, milk and milk products. You might have heard about that. To get calcium in our body, we have to drink milk and milk products. So form strong bones and teeth, and needed for muscle movement and clotting of blood also. These are some functions of calcium. And you have potassium. So green and yellow vegetables, these are the sources of potassium. Functions, you have growth and keeping, for growth it helps, and keeping osmotic balance of cells and blood. I will explain this sentence, keeping osmotic balance of cells and blood. So in our body we have cells, right? And also we have blood cells, everything. So when you have, for example, you take uh, some water, I mean salt water and the normal water, okay, and you separate them with a membrane, okay, like permeable membrane, like water passes through it. So when you keep one side water and one side salt water, what will happen? The salt water concentration will be high and water concentration will be low. When you have in between a membrane, okay, what will happen? The water, normal water, will go to the salt water so that they get balanced. Okay, so they get balanced. This is the pressure created because of imbalance. So this is what is called as osmotic balance. So in our body also, we have cells and we have salts, that is electrolytes in it. Okay, and if there is an imbalance, what will happen? They will move from, if there is water and it moves to the concentrated solution and it gets balanced. Okay, so if inside the cell you have uh, the salt concentration, a lot of salt concentration, that is if you say potassium, then the water from outside because of pressure comes inside and the cells get bulged, so that's a problem. Okay, and if the salt concentration is high outside the cell, what happened? The water from cells move outside and the cells shrink, so that's also a problem. So they have to maintain a balance. So that is what is called as osmotic balance of cells and blood. Okay, don't confuse, just I gave an explanation. You just have to remember osmotic balance, and when you say osmotic balance you have to remember what I said. Okay, that's it. And you have minerals, you have iodine, sources are seafood, iodized salt. Okay, and functions, body metabolism, like we have many processes in our body, right? And development of brain. The next one is water. So water is an important part of a diet. Okay, because our body is consists of 75 to 60% of our body weight consists of water, and it regulates the body temperature. That's why you heard from your elders that you have to drink water to keep your body temperature normal, especially in hot climate condition. And it provides a medium for biochemical reaction taking place in the body. So chemical is basically liquid, right? So for many of the biochemical reactions, water is necessary. Okay, and you have raw vegetables. So they help in bowel movement. As I told, bowel movement is basically excretion. When you go for excretion in our body, in our stomach, okay, you have small intestine and large intestine. So after the absorption of the nutrition from the food, the waste have to be excreted out of our body, and these raw vegetables, they help in keeping that process smooth. Okay, if it's so liquid, that's also a problem for us. Okay, when we go to toilet, and if it's very rough also, very solid like thing, that's also constipation, that's also problem. So these fibers, soluble and non-soluble fibers, so fibers are what's called roughage are basically these fibers. So they help, okay, in to keep the consistency, so that we go uh, we excrete easily. We go to toilet like smoothly without any issues. Okay, without loose motion or without constipation. They help in that to keep the consistency. Okay. And balanced diet. What is balanced diet? As I told, there are different nutrients and there are different functions for each nutrients. So we have to take balanced diet. We cannot just take food that's full of fat, or you cannot just take foods that full of carbohydrates. So you have to balance so that we live healthy. Okay, you have to so this is a definition: eating a variety of foods in proper quantity. Okay, every day constitutes a balanced diet, so that you get enough amount of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water, everything. And also it differs from age, sex, and pregnancy. Male person might will have to have more protein and nutrients, while female they don't need much. There will be a little difference, and age also. Okay, as a child will need lesser than an adult, like that. And also during pregnancy time they will need a lot more, so it depends. So the diet have to be our food intake have to be balanced. Okay, inshallah next class we will go to digestion. um, Please write down and listen well so that you understand everything. This lesson is a big lesson. Okay, life process 1 is a big lesson. You have to see 35 pages. So please listen well and study well to utilize your lockdown period time, so that inshallah we will be prepared for our examination in the future. Okay, barakallahu feekum. Take care. We'll finish here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.